Out of speaker?
What you're derailing the conversation.
All right,
It's
I'm
not
really
about
not.
pallets.
We're having you right now.
I don't drink.
Yeah, you do,
adrenaline.
sir. You are absolutely
No,
drinking.
I don't.
You are drunk off your ass right now.
Okay. So, wait. Let me ask you a question. The most honest people in the world. Look it up. Go to the computer.
Look it up.
And ask who's the most honest people in the world. Look it up.
No, I don't even know what you're asking. You make no sense. You're too fucking drunk to have a conversation.
Okay.
I think you ought to just go pass out somewhere.
So let me ask you a question. Who did you vote for?
Harris.
And why?
Because I think that our fiscal policy in this country should be aimed at the poor instead of the wealthy. So I believe in demand-side economics.
Without the wealthy, there's no life.
Those people are laughing at you. Those people are laughing at you. And you
what people are laughing at me? What people are laughing at me?
All of them.
All of who?
I mean, Mojo, you got to have the people making the money to be even able to give to the poor. So the poor can't just have shit for free, Mojo. You know this.
If there's a demand for a product, will somebody create a supply for that demand?
The way you're speaking, you need to go around and tell everybody they should have free power. The electric company shouldn't be able to allow to charge prices the way they do to make people like me poorer and poorer every day because they keep raising the prices of power. You stop doing stuff like that, then money can be saved up, right, Mojo?
Yeah, I agree. I think
right. So
I think electricity and the power grid should be nationalized. Absolutely.
Well, right, but why do each individual states gets to dictate the power of the price of power?
Because capitalism sucks.
Well, but that's on a state level.
Okay, it's still capitalism. It sucks.
Well, right. So what are we going to replace with currency? What alternate currency do you recommend?
AC/DC? I don't fucking know. What are you asking? You were asking about power.
What I'm asking is
you were asking about power.
Like you're basically going to make us more poor by trying to promote your agendas to make the poor less poor.
How am I going to
make sense?
How am I going to make anybody more poorer?
How are you going to make anybody more poor? Because you're going to take more money out of my pocket to give to socialist programs when we know they don't. The money that we give to social programs don't even go towards the social programs. And those are the people that you were voting in. Kamala, Biden, Harris, right? All these people democratically do not do what they say they're going to do. Just like the Republicans, right, Mojo?
You realize
both sides sit here and feed us bullshit, get us all excited to vote them in, and then just like the Democrats, the Republicans do the exact opposite to piss people off like me and you.
You realize that? You realize that half the country doesn't pay any federal income taxes, right?
The fact that you told me you voted for Harris tells me you're okay with the Democratic Party.
So you can't respond?
You're okay with the Democratic Party.
So you can't respond to me? Are you serious? You can't respond to me right now?
With all due respect, I don't want to have Great Britain Parliament where...
Yeah, I didn't say anything about Great Britain. Why can't you respond to my question? You do realize that half this country pays no federal income taxes, right?
Yeah, we shouldn't have income tax.
Okay, half the country...
You're talking to somebody that we should do away with income tax.
And
we should do away with property
and replace
tax.
it with what? And replace it with what?
Well, we shouldn't be taxed. If we had a president...
So we shouldn't have a government? So we shouldn't have a government?
Small government.
No, so we have to have taxes then.
Well, some form of governance is acceptable in my realm.
So we have to have taxes. So we have to have taxes then.
Well, some form of taxes, yes, because it's a privilege to live in America.
Okay, so when are taxes? Okay, so when are taxes? When do taxes get to be too much? How much in taxes? How much in taxes are we allowed to charge?
I don't think it's a God-given right to have a vehicle to drive on the road.
I don't care. That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. What is your limit? What is your limit on taxation?
Didn't you ask what my limits on taxation would be? Property tax. We shouldn't have property tax. But when
what taxes should we have?
To pay for roads, infrastructure, bridges.
What do you think property taxes are? What do you think property taxes are? What do you think property taxes are?
What are property taxes? Well, it doesn't go to the roads.
It does. It specifically goes to roads.
If the money that I give to property taxes actually go to what it's supposed to, we shouldn't have any potholes.
It specifically goes to roads, you dipshit.
So right now, the Democratic Party leads Virginia, right? They're in control, and they're getting all this money. Well, why aren't they helping out the poor? We're in a Democratic state, Mojo.
I'm sure they are.
Why is
I'm sure they are
not taking the property
I'm sure they are
and actually doing what they should do with it?
I'm sure that's what they're doing.
Are they?
Yes.
We already know that that's not happening.
No, I think it is happening.
We already know that these social funds
I think you're wrong.
Created,
yeah, I think you're wrong.
These social funds, Mojo, these social funds that have been created are designed for them to stifle off of it.
I know you're wrong about that.
Off the top.
I know you're wrong about that.
I know I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
It's the same
so I still want to figure out how much.
Founders.
I still want to know how much taxes we can charge to have some sort of government, because you want a smaller government, but you still want a government, and that government has to be funded. So how do we fund it?
Well, yeah, that's up for debate. Now, that's the debate, not to give the poor
so answer my question.
Free.
So answer my question. How do we pay for it?
We stop spending.
Well, you can't stop spending because you have to have a government that spends money.
No, you have a society in America that we have a spending problem. I told you this the other day. Everybody wants to complain.
But you still have a government that spends money, and you want to still have a government, so it still has to spend money. And if it still spends money, we have to give it the money to spend, right? So that has to be through taxation. So how much taxation do you think is acceptable?
Maybe 1%, 2%.
1% of what?
Yeah, so if I make $100, I'm all right with them taking.
So you do want an income tax?
Well, income tax on a state level, I don't mind it if it's going towards infrastructure.
Well, how do you fund the federal government?
Well, that's not my problem.
But it is, because you still want a federal government, right?
Well, I would want the military to see. That's where freedom and security comes in. The price of security.
Okay, so how do you fund the federal government? How do you fund the federal government?
This is how it's been operating. You can't
taxation, income taxes.
Have a society
income taxes. Income taxes. You said you don't want income taxes, so I want to know how you want to fund it.
Well, yeah, I prefer no income tax. There are other ways
so how do you fund the government?
Society.
Yeah, so how do you do that? How do you fund the government?
Well, let's debate it. Well, give me some options.
I don't have to give you options. You're the one who has the fucking. You're the one who has the idea. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one that has. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one that has the idea of getting rid of income taxes, but still having a federal government. So I want to know how you're going to fund that federal government that you insist on having.
You insist on having irrational conversations. I'm trying to have a rational conversation.
No, you are not.
And that's why me and you are never going to get along, Mojo, because you're up here grifting rather than having a rational conversation.
You are not having a rational conversation. Buddy. There's that crash out. There's that crash out. Gloria, can I get your age and who you voted for, please?
53 and your President Trump.
Do you still support Trump?
You're damn right. Why not?
I don't know, because he told you no new wars, and here we are in a war.
Shut up, stupid. You're a jackass.
Really? Are you serious? That's all you have?
He's your daddy.
What the fuck? Boy, so many drinkers today. So many drinkers. That's going to be my first question from here on out. How much have you had to drink? Will you take a breathalyzer? The fuck? Are you drunk?
No, but I just got booted off Mojo's panel, or Dr. Galt's panel. He said to come back to your panel, so here I am.
What'd they boo you off for?
I told him that Thomas Massey, when it comes to like if you need a run scored, Thomas Massey's going to hit a weak dribbler to second base, and that's all you're going to get out of him.
You can't go in there and insult Massey, man. What are you doing?
I give him what for? Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like he's some sort of rising star in politics or something. My God, I mean, fucking ridiculous.
He's the future of the Republican Party. Just get used to it.
He can't even win an election. He can't even win his own seat.
Well, that was only because he's going to run for president, so he didn't need to win. He just wanted the extra exposure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. He's just going to hit a weak dribbler to second base for an easy double play, man, and that's just all you're going to get out of somebody like that.
Well, they're libertarians. They tend to dribble a lot.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of where you think your ideology may or may not be, liberal or conservative, you want your best hitter up there hitting the ball. I mean, hitting bombs. Obama was a big player, and he hit bombs. He got major shit done. Did I agree with it? Not a lot of it, no. But you got to hand it to him. He got shit done. Donald Trump's the same way. I mean, he hits bombs. He's a big player. You want the biggest player, the best player up there batting for your team. Period.
All right, can you guys help me out and tap the screen, share the live out to whoever you can, conservatives specifically. Do the heart me at the top if you haven't done so yet. Help me with gift goals this new week, new gallery, I guess. And whoever's on the panel, if you like what they're saying, give them gifts as well, please. And if you want to come up, request up. I'll fill the panel. I'd rather have half conservatives than half liberals, but if you want to come up and yell at Tabasco about alkaline water or whatever, feel free.
Yeah, whatever. You can yell at me all you want. Doesn't matter. I'm good.
I know. You're pretty calm. Wait, are you a Scientologist?
I don't think so. No. I'm not very religious.
We had a conversation about Scientology last night, and Rosa has been through the first level, and she was talking about what it was like to progress through it. So it's kind of like a military boot camp. They sit you in a chair and they make you stare at somebody for like an hour or some shit, and until you can stare without actually flinching or laughing or whatever, then you're going to do it over and over and over again. And then they try and get your goat. They try and tell you how ridiculous you are, how stupid you are, how ugly you are, whatever, to try and get you to react. So what they're trying to do is teach you that it doesn't really matter what people say. You should just be able to take it and let it slide up your shoulders. So I feel like, Tabasco, you're pretty good at doing that. Pretty good at just letting shit slide up your shoulders. That's why I asked.
Yeah. I mean, people can dish it. I can take that, but I like to dish it back, and so, I mean, I go tit for tat. I match energy, though, so I just don't get emotional about it.
Oh, yeah, so you don't match energy. You're always more calm than other people.
Yeah, but, I mean, when I say match energy, I mean, I put it back to you, kind of thing. I like to win.
So if I call you an asshole, you'll call me an asshole?
Probably not. I mean,
see, you don't match energy. Come on.
Okay, well, maybe I don't.
How are you feeling about the world today? Still loving Donald Trump?
It's a crazy place. Do I love Donald Trump? I mean, he's in a position to really make an impact on things. I thought the Iran thing was kind of monumental. That's been a stronghold of energy and the transportation of energy and the price of energy for a long time, and so he's disrupted
That's actually not what
I
happened.
think we fully
What
understand
happened
what's
is,
going on there yet.
No, we do know what's going on. What happened was he attacked Iran, and 20% of the world's energy oil goes through a strait, right? And that Strait of Hormuz, Hormuz, thank you, is surrounded by their land. So if commercial vehicles try to pass through that strait, they can just attack those commercial vehicles. If we try to escort those commercial vehicles, our vehicles would be immediately fired upon from their land. So the only way to stop them from firing upon us or commercial vehicles would be to do a full-scale invasion of Iran. That's why.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think that. I think there's a lot more in play.
Well, no. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think. That's literally what's happening right now. I mean, that's my problem with MAGA. It's like I don't care about how you feel or your conspiracy theories. There is objective reality, and the objective reality is when you create a situation where 20% of the world's oil supply can now be held hostage. Prices are going to go up. So I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to be respectful, but you have to deal in reality if you want to have these conversations.
Well, yeah. I mean, Iran was the mafia of the Middle East, and they've been doing that shit for a long time. So whenever the big money needed gas prices to go up or oil prices per barrel to go up, they call on their buddy down there, Iran, to start some shit and inflate the price.
Once again, I don't think you know.
It's been going on for a long time.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's OPEC, right? So it's a lot more going on than just Iran. So
that's what I'm saying. Yes, it is a lot more going on.
But what I'm saying in this particular situation, Iran is able to hold 20% of the world's oil supply hostage because commercial vehicles can't pass through the strait. So what I'm saying is we if you're going to speak on these things, you can't. What you just did, you delved into like conspiracy theory territory. You basically said Iran is a mafia that has power over the oil supply, which may or may not be true. But the reality is OPEC is what really sets the prices for the oil supply. So what I'm just saying is, I just wish people would look into these things before just saying what sounds right. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, but, there is a lot more going on. And Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, I mean, he's privy to a lot of information and has been privy to a lot of information. And he's been consistent, and he's been consistent on Iran since the 80s. He's talking about something needs to be done about Iran. I've heard him
say. The only thing he's been
consistent. And he did it.
Brother, the only thing he's been consistent on is being consistently incompetent. All right. So here's the thing, right? The reality is that Obama got a really good deal with Iran, and the reason why Trump got rid of that Iran deal is because he has a personal problem with Obama. Trump is an incompetent leader, and if you ask him why we did any of this, he just keeps saying we can't allow them to have a nuclear boom boom. But like all of his leading experts were saying, they were not an imminent threat to America. Israel manipulated Trump into fighting their battle for them because he is an incompetent leader.
Okay, I mean, you're entitled to that opinion.
No. So once again, objective reality, my guy. Iran was not planning to imminently attack us. They had no way to imminently attack us, so there was no reason for us to attack them. The only one who benefits from attacking Iran is Israel. So, I mean, once again, it's not about opinion. It's not about how I feel. It's about the reality of the situation.
Okay. That's your perspective.
No, it's not my perspective. It's objective reality.
I mean, that's your perspective.
Who else gains Tabasco from America attacking Iran?
I think the whole world does because, like he said, he said 20%. I think it's more like 35 to 40%.
Where do you get that from? Where do you get that number from?
Just stop.
Of the world's oil moves through there.
Where do you get that number from? You just said 35 to 40. Where are you getting? What have you read that says 35 to 45%? Where are you getting that number from?
It does shift power away from OPEC to other nations now, like us and other oil producing nations, even like. European nations. Ukraine has oil, Russia has oil, things like that. So it diversifies it.
You do realize the strait was open before we attacked Iran, right?
You do realize that they arbitrarily inflate the price whenever they
Oh my
want to.
God.
Tabasco, approximately 20% of the world's petroleum liquids consumption, or roughly 20 million barrels per day, moves through the Strait of Hormuz. It's about 20%. That is correct.
20. Okay. Yeah. Well,
objective reality.
That's still a big number. That's still a big number. And
no, but the point is, you can't just say 35 to 45 because you feel like it or you think. You have to look at the facts. You have to look at objective reality.
Right. Well, there's other oil that goes through there other than that's produced in Iran. I mean, it's a thoroughfare.
That's true. Saudi Arabia, other countries do send oil through the Strait of Hormuz as well, depending on where they're shipping it to.
Right.
And the volume equates to about 25 to 27% of all global maritime oil trade. So going in and out of the area too, as well, adds to it. So it does. It does support up to 27% in and out, not just leaving. But either way,
answer to the question I asked.
What was that? I didn't see that.
No, go ahead when you're done, Mojo.
Well, no.
No, go ahead when you're done. Go.
I didn't hear you ask a question.
I just asked. This was back during the consistency talks, and I was just wondering what is Iran's final deadline to come to a peace negotiation. And I was asking Tabasco because I just want to know, like, if the consistency, like, when is that deadline? But he's got bars right now, so.
He probably can't respond. I mean, if anything, this is just an embarrassment. We've only strengthened Iran's position, and it just showed that we don't have competent leadership right now because there was no clear objective or goal when they went into Iran. Like, we thought we could just bully them like we bullied Venezuela, but little did Trump know, Iran has literally been preparing for us to attack them.
Well, it's not really necessarily that they've been preparing for an attack. It's just that they've lived in poverty-angled economy for centuries. So they're used to it. This is what they're used to.
Well, I mean, I imagine that they know that we are an adversary of theirs. They see Trump's behavior. So, I mean, they had to figure that eventually he would be emboldened enough to attack them.
So, Tabasco, you're back. Can I just get a quick answer to that? Like, what's the actual deadline for Iran to come to a peace talks and before Trump actually does another attack on them? Because I thought it was today. 2 weeks ago, I thought it was a month prior. The day before that, I thought it was 2 days, and they have, and then 24 hours. And then, I'm going to give them 48 more hours, another 2 weeks. So I just want to know what the consistency of the negotiations of a peace talk is.
Oh my God. That's about what I thought.
He just had something to do, man. Chill out.
No, okay.
Damn, I can't.
He's on the panel quite often. He doesn't generally just run. As a matter of fact, he'll talk too much if you ask him.
Oh, okay.
So I assume he had something to go do. But now, Deef, I know you were agreeing with the tax policy. That's why you vote. Wait, you specifically vote Republican because of your own personal life, right? I mean, like your work and stuff.
Well, I said whoever is going to align, I'm open to hearing anything. I mean, I've historically voted Republican for that, yes. But so I just haven't heard anything else sideways to that.
But things that help you in your trade, though, specifically, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
What's your trade?
I'm not going to get into intricacies of things I do.
Oh, of course. No, totally understand. I typically vote for the left, but I like to also say that if there's a Republican candidate who is better or I think will benefit the country more, I'd vote for that Republican candidate. So I agree with the sentiment.
I'm a hitman on the side. I'm kidding. TikTok.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say that. I think Deep's probably the same way.
So TikTok, it was a joke.
I think Deep's probably the same way, that he would vote for anybody that he agrees with their policies. I don't think he's stuck on either side. I'm stuck on one side. I'm stuck on the blue side, but that's because I want demand side fiscal policy and guarantee. Well, I mean, I guess if there was a Republican that came out and wanted to do that, I would vote for him, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
so demand side creates inflation, so I'll never be.
I disagree. I mean, I think you can. I think you can utilize the demand side is just simply feeding the demand. So if you want to give money to food producers instead of consumers of food, you can still lower the cost of food to nothing if you really want to, by giving it to businesses instead, which wouldn't increase the cost.
Well, yeah, that works on a hypothetical piece of paper, but we've never seen that successfully implemented without inflation being a tail end cause or a tail end result.
Yeah. If you
give paper, that sounds good.
Sure, if you just write somebody a check and they go and buy more products, prices are going to go up. I agree with you. I think that we can work around that in a lot of different ways to make sure that prices aren't going up, or at least not going up substantially.
Well, listen, I don't disagree. All I will say is historically, we've never seen anybody implement the outside or the end result that you're referencing. It's always just been, hey, let's just feed, and then inflation. That's why we're at a 30% cumulative inflation rate in this country at this point, and nobody's dollar means shit. And that's a unilateral party problem. That's not Republican or Democrat. I'm not giving any credence to either side on that. That's a collective problem, but nobody's implemented that result, and that's why I would say demand side never works.
Well, I will say this. I'm pretty much like you, Mojo, where I say, if they would do policies I would like, but there's no hell would sooner freeze over before they would do policies I like, especially because I think not only like fiscally, but I think Republicans are terrible socially. They have this weird mindset where they're like, you're going to conform to how we believe the country should live, and if you're outside that like box, we don't give a fuck about you. So I don't, from that alone, I don't know how anyone can vote for that party unless you're in that little bubble, like a straight white dude who's Christian.
Well, I don't know how you feel about that, Dave, but I would suggest that a lot of the things that Republicans want to do are simply unconstitutional. So even if they try and push those social issues that they want to push, I think they're going to end up finding themselves in front of a court telling them that they can't do it.
And that's what keeps happening with Trump. He keeps doing unconstitutional thing after another, and like the courts, it takes some time to catch up with him. So it looks like he has a lot more power than he has, but eventually the court like kind of slaps his hand from the cookie jar.
But going back to the tax thing, what would you consider our fiscal policy before Ronald Reagan?
You mean whether it's demand or supply?
Yeah, or is it kind of a mix, or is it just more pro corporation? Or I'm trying. I guess the New Deal. There's a large big wrench in it.
There was a lot of expansion going on prior to Reagan with this country, so it's hard to really pinpoint a specific fiscal policy or whether it was demand side or, because I think it was all mixed up until that point because there was just so much expansion going on across the board. Like you said, you referenced the New Deal, things like that. So to pinpoint a specific measure of policy, I would say is kind of difficult. I would just say it was more mixed. I think historically we've been mixed. I don't think any real politician or president has been specifically demand or supply. I also don't think a lot of climates have allowed any specific type of fiscal policy. I mean, when Trump was in office, I would say majority of his policy was supply until we obviously saw C-19, which just factually required demand. We had really no choice other than to implement demand at that time. And same with Biden, which is why I always will say that the inflation that we're experiencing is not a single party cause. I don't blame the Democrats. I don't blame the Republicans. That's unified, in my opinion.
Well, I think we need to then blame Ronald Reagan and the fact that he did switch us over to a supply-side economic system, because it seemed to work before that. I mean, before he took office, our national debt was like $700 billion. So he ran it up to $2.1 trillion or something like that. So he tripled the national debt in the time that he was in office. And we've only been exponentially rising since then. So I think obviously those policies are failing. Maybe we should go back to something more akin to pre-Reagan.
I don't know if people Kevin keeps referencing my statement to cumulative inflation. That's what the real inflation rate is year over year. It's not the CPI or PCE inflation rates that we reference, which is now. I mean, you can easily look up what cumulative inflation is. It's a real thing. And sorry, I'm going off Wi-Fi because I'm walking back into my house, so I might lose connection. Just FYI.
There he goes. You can come up, Kevin. I think he's right about cumulative inflation. I mean, this is just if we gained 3% over a year, I guess, then the next year we gain 4%. We have a cumulative inflation rate of somewhere a little over 7%, I guess, because you're doing the 4% on top of the 3%. So it will add up to increase prices over time. I would think that the 30% that he's talking about would either be from Reagan or the very least he might be talking about COVID, but I'm not sure. Anybody's welcome to come up if you guys want. It's Memorial Day. No, it's just me. I'm sure there's an algorithm that they come up with to see what the cumulative inflation is. It shouldn't be too hard. I mean, it's like something akin to a compounding interest algorithm, I guess.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Just got pulled up.
I didn't do it. Somebody else.
I know it was Sammy Sue.
Yeah,
Sammy
I
Sue.
invited her.
How are y'all doing today?
Just peachy keen. This wonderful
awesome.
Memorial Day.
That's awesome. It's rainy here and the kids are loud, so excuse me if you hear their noise.
It's 80 degrees here and perfectly sunny.
Oh man, that would be nice.
It's dry as fuck though. I live in Colorado.
Oh, that's one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah, we have lots of sunshine.
I really love Red Rocks. I've been there bunches and bunches of times.
It is the best place to go to see a concert for sure.
It's literally the best place in the country to go see music for sure.
Yeah. Except having to walk up and down those fucking stairs, god damn it.
Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna die every time. I'm like, the way home is not that bad, but the way up there, oh my god, it's such a struggle.
Yeah.
It's such a struggle. Oh, yeah. The first time I had to do that, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna come back here ever. But the show was so good, I was like, I guess that's why people walk up all those stairs. But man, that's rough.
It's a good workout. Especially
yeah, sure.
with the lack of oxygen, it's a really good workout.
Oh yeah, the combo was like, I'm from Virginia. We're like at sea level here. Like that was a big change.
Yeah, 5,200 feet in the air, mile high. Oh, actually, that's probably a little more than a mile high, because the stadium was a mile high, and Red Rocks is a little above the stadium, so a little more than a mile high.
Yeah, I just love how you can see like all of Denver light up right over the stage when you're there. That's like really awesome.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Colorado, my husband took me directly to Netherlands, which is like at about 10,000 feet. And like, I couldn't breathe at all. I was like, you have to turn around and go back. I need to acclimate.
I even get that when I go up that high. That's why all the gas stations up there and stuff sell canned air.
Oxygen. Yeah.
You know,
I saw that too. I was like, we don't sell that in Virginia very often.
It is definitely an interesting state to grow up in, but I've been here forever. So going down to sea level for me is a cakewalk. It's so easy
I bet you're not a transplant too. Whoa, you're a native Coloradan.
I'm not. I mean, I've been here since I was in kindergarten. So for most of my
you're basically native though. That's compared to all the other transplants.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I like
right.
Colorado a lot.
Kevin McHale, can I get your age and who you voted for? Why is that funny? Are you okay? Are you okay, Kevin?
I'm
Do I
fine.
need to call somebody? I don't know what's going on here. Okay, fine. Ziad Gaming, can I get your age and who you voted for? They don't know they're up here either. What the fuck?
Wow, that happened to two people at once?
That's crazy. Sorry. Kevin, if you want to come back up, but I don't think you even wanted to be on the panel. You did join, Kevin. I don't know how to join. You did join. Now Ziad wants back up too.
Just press the little plus sign. There you go. Well, that's someone different.
No, the same person I just dropped off too.
Oh.
Ziad, are you there?
What the fuck do you request me?
What?
No, I'm.
What the fuck? I don't know what's going on.
It's been wild on here for like the last week. Shit's just been crazy.
Yeah, I think people are going crazy because there's not much to argue about anymore. And a lot of people have left left Donald Trump anyway. So they don't want to argue against Donald or for Donald Trump anymore. So they tend to not talk a lot.
I think it's a hard thing to do, to be honest with you. I mean,
So it makes it hard to have conversations. But I'm willing to talk about philosophy too. We don't have to always just talk about Trump.
That's good. That's good because I feel like you have the repetitive conversations, the same thing over and over again. So it's nice to spice it up a little.
Elike, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I'm here.
Can I get your age and who you voted for, please?
32 and Jill Stein.
Right. Why Stein?
I think her policies on environmental protection benefit Americans. Just to be honest with you, when we look at the leading cause of unalivement in America, it's heart disease, and that percentage of heart disease, I think they say about 32% of it is attributed to environmental factors outside of genetics and things like that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my bad.
I really don't care. We voted for Jill Stein. I assume that you live in a safe state, though.
Yeah, Texas.
Okay, well, that might not be safe anymore, but certainly last cycle it was. Go Army is a radical right-winger that thinks his wife should stay at home and make sandwiches for him. Right, Go Army?
That's like Jill Stein.
You want Jill Stein to stay home?
No, but I was enjoying my lovely Memorial Day, and I heard you say something. I said, wow, me and Mojo, we really think alike. And then you followed it up with, people are leaving the Trump party. And I was like, are leaving Trump. And I was like, about drop my drink. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, I recall the other night, he won like all the primaries that he supported, like 37-0. And I was just like, wow, how could he say such a thing? But I do agree, people are running out of stuff to talk about. There's really not,
He had a 50-50 shot in all of those primaries. You get that, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, so?
I mean, he could have picked either one, and it wouldn't have mattered. A Republican's still going to win. If that's the way primaries work. Wasted time. Can I get your age and who you voted for, please?
Hey, what's going on? I'm 32, grain farmer from Illinois, and I voted for Trump.
What kind of farmer?
Grain farmer.
Grain. Just different kinds of grain?
Corn and soybeans and alfalfa.
Gotcha. So animal feed mostly.
A lot of ethanol, some feed.
How was your soybean yield affected by these last tariff agreements that we have with China? Has it affected your buyers at all, or have you been unaffected by them?
I'd say sales made in the summer of 25 were affected.
Got it.
The market in late 23 through the middle of 25 were pretty much shit.
So would you say that they're improving now after our trade war with China, or do you think that it has impacted your ROI on particularly the soybean part of your agriculture endeavors?
Yeah, it's hard to make good money at $10 beans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've been $10 the last 2 years, and then the end of 23 they were in the 11s. Right now we're sitting around probably 11 and a half cash.
Gotcha.
I don't think there's anybody losing money at 11 and a half cash, but you're almost bulletproof at $12 and $5 on corn.
Gotcha.
We're probably sitting around 450 to 460 on corn cash right now for most of the country.
Gotcha. And hopefully this is not too intrusive, but are you currently receiving any financial supplements from the USDA or anything like that at this time?
A lot.
Governmental okay.
Yes, I get a lot.
Got you. I've heard some people refer to that as like agricultural welfare. Do you disagree with that particular terminology, or do you think that it is a accurate depiction of when top farmers are dependent on socialist programs?
Yeah, it's a trade-off. So if the government wants to come into my business and artificially make grain prices cheaper to keep food cheaper, they have to reimburse me for the difference. Now, you could have it where the government isn't doing that, and then you could have wild swings in food prices. That would be fine with me, because when things get crazy, I'd make a lot of money.
Holy fuck.
But as of right now, it's a reimbursement. Do not be tricked that it's farmer welfare. If the government was not involved in ag, food prices would not be consistent. They would swing wildly, right? Because that's any meat that we eat in the United States is fed from field corn, field beans. That's what they eat.
Nah, I got that wild grass fed. I don't mess with beans, bro. I don't like soy. I'm on the far right, bro. We don't do soy no more.
Okay.
Grass fed is a complete and utter scam.
Don't they finish all cattle off of grain?
Not this again. Oh my god.
Any beef worth of shit is finished with grain. Yeah. Grass fed. One, it tastes like shit. Two, it's a scam. What do you think they're spraying the grass with? You think there's no pesticides out there?
Or they're running chicken coops over the top of them for 5 years at a time to try. I mean, that's the best you can get. But I mean, even y'all still have a problem with that too. Farmers can't win for shit. So
I saw something where they're trying to do finishing, particularly beef cattle with food scraps, particularly like I think they were using carrots and things like that. Do you think that that's a shift that's going to come to the? And I know that you're in the grain side, but on the on our meat side, finishing with waste instead of pouring so much into these grains.
I think we should go back to feeding cows to cows so that you guys can just get mad cow disease.
Dang,
that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, Mojo.
little Darwinism. We need some Darwinism.
Oh my god. I as far as like finishing with carrots, I mean, maybe it does have a somewhat of a benefit as far as getting rid of the waste if that's the goal. But as far as like promoting any type of cheaper or better beef, it's not going to do much. I mean, carrots are still going to run through a ruminant the same way. I don't even know if is a carrot going to convert to blood sugar that's going to allow for more marbling in the meat because it's a
carrots have a lot of sugar in them actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But they're a ruminant. But these are ruminants too.
They are.
So.
I don't know that they can properly digest them. That's correct.
Right. I don't know for sure about that. I'd have to look at it. But I have heard more and more people. I think there was a video here on TikTok or something about somebody trying to finish their cattle with beef, with carrot.
With beef.
He got me over here worried about mad cow.
Mad cow.
I grew up on a dairy farm. I've never seen a cow eat a carrot in my life.
It's a root vegetable, so I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's gonna work. It's like cows eating potatoes. Like, if you were finishing them with like wheatgrass or something like that, maybe. But
maybe wheat, yeah. And again, I'm not speaking from experience. I did chickens. Egg chicken,
we can definitely move on from this conversation.
Oh,
I was gonna say you got to think about the ozone too. By the way, yeah,
the methane.
Right. So what we really need to start doing is regulating these. Every cattle farmer needs to put a filter in every cow's asshole to make sure that we're filtering the methane.
Exactly.
Like, we produce methane too every time we fart, right?
Most of it is actually from belching from the cows, and the amount of methane that they put into the air is adding like 70% of the methane that's actually in the atmosphere. For all the cattle that are produced on the planet.
Cow eating carrots is just pre-beef stew. That's amazing.
Anybody that's worried about like anything we do in the United States in terms of the environment, you should go watch some videos on India, and you just got to understand that the problem is not here. It's in these countries that don't give a shit.
It's everywhere.
There's literally mountains of garbage in India that are on fire right now.
We just bury it. So
yeah, we just bury it and light it on fire.
Yeah,
that's really. We light the gases that bio.
Wait, we also send a lot of it to Asian countries.
We do send a lot of our waste over.
Yeah,
we do because we do overconsume.
That's
we're
why
talking
you got
about
that
some
massive garbage thing in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, we got some shit to fix, and I guarantee you Republicans aren't going to fix it. And wasted your subsidies that you're talking about are not because they're telling you that what you're going to grow or what you're going to be able to charge. Right now, the subsidies that you're getting right now are because Donald Trump putting tariffs on shit.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is absolutely true.
What's the last president not to give money to farmers?
The money that you're getting right now is specifically because of tariffs, though.
Okay, but I've gotten a lot of checks in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
whether it's
Donald Trump and tariffs.
Yeah, but it's not all tariff money.
It is tariff money. It's making up for the tariffs and the trade.
I'm sorry, Mojo. Go on.
It's just making up for the trade war that he started with the tariffs.
Yeah, and it's falsely leading you into thinking that you're getting free checks, like he's giving you something, but he's getting you in the situation that's causing him and our taxpayer dollars to have to fund you, right?
I have a quick question. Who was the largest purchaser of soybeans and grains from America? What country was the largest purchaser?
It was China, right?
Okay. And they stopped their buying from us after the trade war. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
It is
you
true.
Don't think China...
They bought 12 million metric tons in February.
What is the normal amount that they would buy during that time in a given year? So we have 12 million metric tons, right? What was the amount that they bought in the same time frame around 2003 through 2005?
Good question. I don't know.
It's not uncommon for presidents to give subsidies to farmers, and I don't necessarily not support tariffs specifically on American-made farm products, like whatever it may be. American beef, American corn, American soybeans, like those are markets here in the United States that we do need to protect. That's the point of tariffs. But I think everybody knows, like, my issue is with blanket tariffs, but I as far as like China is concerned as well, like I don't understand this whole like crazy thing with China. Like, Yeah, China does buy a lot of those soybeans, but I mean, is that not to, a lot of that is to manipulate soybean prices here domestically the same way that OPEC does with oil, right?
Okay, so China imported 8 million metric tons of soybeans in 2003.
So your contention is that China is now buying more soybeans from us?
Yeah, there was a.
He said 2003.
There was a deal made last year for China to start buying soybeans, but they bought zero net soybeans throughout the first 10 months of the year, and then between November and December they bought 12 million tons. However, before the tariffs were put in place, we were selling them approximately 27 million metric tons.
Correct. So we decreased by half, or more than half.
More than half, yeah. And that was even after making a deal with them.
But they did agree they're going to buy 25 million between 26 and 28.
Okay, so that's still half. Oh, you said each year.
Correct. Yes.
They agreed to that?
If China purchases at least 25 million tons of U.S. soybeans in each of the 26, 27, 28, the volume would still be 14% lower than the 5-year average of 29 million tons of soybeans shipments to China from 2020 to 2024.
Correct.
So it's still lower, but this is a new deal that we're making. So basically we're capitulating to China so that we can sell them soybeans.
But we have to. They don't need our soybeans. It's not like
because they can get them from Brazil, which is exactly what they did when Donald Trump started his trade war, and that's why you had to be That's why you had to be subsidized. That's why taxpayers had to foot your bill because of his fucking tariffs.
Okay, if that's the argument, then yes, that's an issue. We shouldn't be making bad decisions like that and targeting places that don't need to be targeted for these particular tariffs and then putting that burden on the taxpayer. Now, if we're talking about a tariff that, like, for instance, on American or on foreign imported beef, that I do support. And just for the record, I don't make a profit off my beef, but that's a good thing for ranchers in Texas. So I'm going to support that because that's going to increase demand of American beef.
So you're telling us you're not a gigolo. Gotcha.
I only have beef for the tax exemption, Mojo. We've been over this 100 times.
Okay. I want to make sure. So you can't have both. You can either have cheap food or you don't interfere in the grain markets. You can't have
you increase the amount of competition. You increase the number of wheat farmers. You make it more incentivizing for a 28-year-old millennial to take over the family farm instead of selling it to a subdeveloper. That's what you do to increase production, and you increase the amount of ranchers. You increase the amount of field farmers that aren't growing like a vegetable or soybeans or something. They're just hay farmers.
Yeah, and then you raise the global temperature by, I don't know, 1 degree Celsius every fucking year.
Well, I mean, people got to eat, dude. So that's why we need to be an
Yeah, but you don't have to eat meat. Nobody has to eat meat. Nobody does.
That's why we need to go to the moon and Mars, Mojo, is to decrease the,
so we can send all you. Yeah, so we can send all you meat eaters there.
Sure. I mean, we actually probably should send the vegans because it's easier to.
You guys are destroying the planet, not me. You guys are destroying the planet, not me.
I mean, we just need to. There's too many people on planet Earth, right?
I agree. Get rid of all the meat eaters. You can take your cows with you.
Well, I mean, you're a smaller subsect, so it would actually be cheaper and more advantageous to get rid of you than it would be us.
Yeah, but it's not going to help global climate change.
How's that not going to help global climate change?
Because I don't affect global climate change.
People relying on what you assume to be we produce a lot of methane. Life on Earth produces a lot of methane. The problem is that we're cutting down our forests that usually filter that out. So we probably need to protect those.
Why are we cutting down forests?
At the same time, we are losing farmland to people that want to build houses.
Why are we cutting down forests? We're cutting down forests to raise your fucking cattle too. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That needs to be addressed in South America, but here in the United States, I mean, we're not cutting down anything. We're just losing farmland and all of this that we've already created to people that want to build a $300,000 house on a 2-acre plot because the 28-year-old millennial that
house?
inherited the estate doesn't want to do the farm work. That's the issue.
How big's your house?
I took up the family mantle, Mojo. So my argument doesn't apply to me.
Oh, is that how this works?
No, I'm just saying that's more or less the issue. I would say if we wanted to lower food prices. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
I just want to make a comment that when farmers are making a lot of money and doing very well, people are not, the consumer is not doing as well, right? It's like oil companies. Oil companies aren't complaining right now. They're making a lot of money. They got no complaints, right? But everybody else struggles. You can have one of two things. You can either have farmers making a lot of money on their own with no government interference, but the price of your food is going to be way up, and then everybody will bitch about high food prices. Or you subsidize the people that grow the food, right? And you make them whole from what they should have gotten if you didn't artificially set the price on food. And after you do that, people's food is cheaper. That's what we do in the United States because our number one priority of every president is affordable food. Because what is everybody bitching about right now? High gas, high groceries. Well, if you didn't subsidize the farmers, you could take it and double it.
I just think we need more farmers, man.
And I was going to say that as well, and I'm not sure if this is incorrect, but isn't it true that the majority of the aid, and I'm talking about per capita, right, provided by the USDA goes to large industrial farms rather than small to mid-sized farms?
Oh, yeah.
So the farmers aren't making the money. It's these large corporations that are making the most amount of the money.
So like how big is a corporation for? Like how big are we talking about?
Well, they're big and they keep getting bigger. So the amount of farmers, like Chapter 11 bankruptcy specifically designed for farmers, the amount of farmers that I think it's like 1 in 64,000 farms inside the United States have filed for Chapter 11 in 2025. And of those ones that were bought up, 95% of them were bought up by corporate, either farming operations or development operations. So we're cutting our supply and expecting our prices to go down. That's not how supply and demand works. We need to raise supply to lower prices.
So I'm going to push back on that a little bit. So if you look at the projections for this year, for field corn, field beans, we're projected to have the second largest crop of all time in this country. So I'm going to disagree. Basically,
with the highest demand we've ever had.
Correct. But my point would be we're just getting more efficient. We're getting better at it. We're getting rid of the people that are not as good at it. It's what's the word? Something destruction. What's the word? Somebody help me.
But what we're doing is concentrating production into larger and larger corporations that allow them to control the price. In order for us to control the price, we need to increase the amount of people in the market that increases the competition, increases supply, which will curve the supply and demand curve in favor of us and give us lower food for the average American a citizen is going to lower their price because we have more. So we have an overabundance. That's what drives prices down. Right now we have scarcity, which is raising prices.
So, but here's my thing. I was going to say new farmers, and I read this somewhere. It might not be true, so fact check me on this. But isn't it like new farmers are most likely go bankrupt within the first 3 years? I think it was over 50%. So how do we introduce more individuals into farming when the ROI is not there, and additionally to that, it's the financial incentive isn't there. You're most likely going to go broke if you're.
That's where I'm going to sound like a Democrat.
Right now, what he just said is absolutely true, and what the Republicans wanted to do in the big beautiful bill is increase the farm subsidies to beginning farmers. Now, what did Democrats do? Every single Democrat voted against it.
I think, sure, yeah. If you want to give smoke to the Democrats on that, I mean, that should be something that a Democrat ideologically should support. Is the idea of a subsidy for a new farmer within the first 5 years that doesn't file Chapter 11. Now, I'm sure both of you know that Chapter 11 doesn't mean that I have to liquidate my assets. I mean, I can still continue to operate. It just allows me to reorganize my debt. But under a Chapter 11, if you do not follow that, then if you don't fall into that within the first 5 years, let's give you what is a new combine going for nowadays? Like 500,000? Like, fuck it. Let's do something along that lines.
I think
go ahead.
You're referencing Chapter 12, not 11.
Chapter 11 is the one specifically for farmers and commercial fishermen.
It'd be 12.
Chapter 11, or excuse me, maybe you are right. Maybe it is Chapter 12. But yeah, whichever one, Chapter 11, Chapter 12, Chapter 13, I think you're right because it's the one in the middle. So, yeah, I think you are right. Chapter 12. So I'll retract that. Thank you for pointing that out.
That's a reorganization, essentially.
Right. You reorganize your debt and you continue to operate and you can still continue to profit. It just allows you to reorganize your debt. Yeah.
Correct. And that's another thing. I join a lot of panels, and this isn't knocking you guys, but it's a talking point, right? Well, farmer bankruptcies are up. Well, if a person understands under a Chapter 12, you're reorganizing bad debt, right? You're in a bad spot, and instead of folding, selling out, or filing a Chapter 11, you go to a Chapter 12, you go through a reorganization of that debt, and then you continue farming, right? A lot of these
isn't that Chapter 7?
No. Chapter 7 is for individuals.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
This is for entities. So they file the Chapter 12, and then they continue farming, except now their debt structure has changed.
So ideally, then, with all the things that we've discussed, it would be advantageous for us to give less subsidies to larger corporations, invest that money back into new small to mid-range farmers, and then allow those farmers to file Chapter 12 if needed, if there's environmental factors and things like that, and just redistribute that wealth from these larger corporations who already have the backing of the USDA. Would that be the prime solution here? It sounds like it.
Agree.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
What you're saying makes sense. And one thing they do accomplish is when they do these disaster payments or just economic payments, they cap them, right? So if you have a guy that's farming, let's say 5,000 acres, he's only getting 155,000. He can't get more than that 155,000.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's fine. And as long as we're putting something in there to prevent these larger corporations from being able to take advantage of the little farmer, because obviously the little farmer is going to get a smaller cut of whatever this welfare is. We need to make sure that the overwhelming amount of this is going to go to the farmer that's, farming 5 to 7,000 acres and clearing 10 to 15% profit margin off of his yearly harvest. That's the guy this is intended for. The guy that's going to use this to put food on his table, not the people that are going to use this for their shares on Wall Street.
There you go. That's exactly right.
And I just want to be clear: the three of us are on three different sides. I'm a Democrat. Wasted. You're a Republican, correct?
Yes, MAGA for sure.
And
I'm an independent.
and we have a member of the Green Party agreeing as well. So compromise is possible, guys. We can solve this.
You all suck. You all suck, and you're all wrong. And we should stop doing what we're doing.
Oh shit, we have 4 sides. But I will say, there's never been one administration since I've been alive that did not subsidize farmers because they understand how important affordable food is in the country. It's the number one issue when it comes to national security for every country is the food source, right? And that's
exactly. That's why China, a Chinese operated corporation owning Smithfield, is a huge issue.
I agree with that. That's ridiculous and poses a national security risk as well.
Exactly. Correct. If y'all don't follow Farming While Beige on here, I don't know if anybody does. Great guy. He runs a I don't know, 5,000 chicken operation. Pretty, not huge by any means. He's out of Virginia. Yeah, he talks about a lot of stuff that we're talking about up here right now. Y'all should go give him a follow as well. And he's
who
funny as
else
fuck,
is
too.
really good is Will Westmoreland. Do you know him, Vader? What? Oh, you
Will
got
Westmoreland?
Westmoreland. He talks about
the general?
issues. No.
He's a TikToker.
No, he's on TikTok. He has his family's had a farm forever. He's from Missouri, and he speaks to those issues a lot. And he does panels. I think it's Will Westmoreland.
He's extremely disliked in the farming community. I'll tell you that.
I would venture that there are those on your side that don't like him, and there are those on the other side that do, because he has a huge following.
Let's be honest, though, Wasted. A lot of what, and specifically in the farming community, is going to be social issues that make them Republicans, not necessarily the economic issues. You know,
you're absolutely, all that. I mean, it was around 90% of U.S. farmers voted for Trump. Is around what the number is.
To their
and it's
detriment.
mostly because they don't like gay people. They think Christians and white people are under attack, and they don't like AB. That's the crux of that.
I'll agree with like 80% of that.
Fair. Okay, I'll take 80%.
Well, because I don't know anything about farming, I always go and listen to his panels, and he's very knowledgeable. He also works in politics as well. And he travels all over the country. So I would recommend to just take a look at his content.
It's kind of like everything else. If you want to get the real story, you got to listen to both sides. And that's why I like TikTok, because I'm hearing, all I hear is the right all day. And then I come in here and I hang out in left-leaning lives, and then I hear the other side. And the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Right, there's the right side, the left side, and the middle.
See, I don't know if that's true for farming. I mean, I couldn't speak to that, but for me and in my career and what I do, I don't think that the truth lies in the middle.
Really,
when it comes to the Constitution, for example.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Where it comes to this administration's use of executive power, usurping Congress, not paying attention to things like the Fourth Amendment, its ICE procedures, things like that. I don't think the truth is somewhere in the middle on a lot of these issues.
Okay, and in the legal aspect, Tennis, you're absolutely correct. But for your average American, they could give specifically farmers, they're just trying to make sure that they make it through to next year so they can start all over again.
Yeah,
so
I get that. That's why I said when it came to farming, I don't know if that statement's true or not.
So for them, just remember this. Most farmers, and Wasted, you could probably back me up on this, like your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, they were probably fucking Democrats. And the reason for that is because Democrats, specifically after the New Deal or before the New Deal with sharecropping and everything like that, the Democrats were considered the poor man's party. So most of your farmers were Democrats because they do. This was a critical issue. It wasn't until these social issues were introduced into it that they became Republicans.
If you go south of the Mason-Dixon line, absolutely. Now, if you go, I'm from Illinois, right? So, I mean, everybody in my family has been Republicans all the way back.
That's fair. See, down here in Texas, it's different. They used to be Democrats down here.
Sure did.
What are you paying for fertilizer? Waste.
So I'll be honest. It's always a weekend when we do something. The weekend he decided to go after Iran, that Sunday, I called my supplier and locked in $4.55 a ton, 32 nitrogen. It's around 600 now. So if a person did not like proactively lock in a price when that happened, it's up probably 35% from that. And then before that, like last year, about the same time, that 2 months ago that weekend when you'd be booking it, it was about $350. So it's up about, what would that be? 70, 80% from last year. About that
That's
time.
a lot. That's significant, right?
And that price has to go down to the consumer.
Not
Right.
See, that's why it doesn't though. What does the government do? Instead of pushing it onto you, they subsidize farming. So like us, we feel it. And then the government strokes us a check so you don't feel it. That's how it works. And that's why when I hear the term welfare queens, it's very upsetting because it's just the government. Instead of you paying at the grocery store, yeah, you're paying it in your taxes to farmers. That, let's be honest, it's not like I put it in my checking account. It goes to the retailers. It goes to the seed companies.
That's fair.
Chemical companies. Maybe 10% of farmers are putting it in their pocket. 90%, as soon as they get it, it goes to the bank to pay it.
Can I address something that Vader said real quick? So I'm a black man, right? And I got back into farming. My grandfather was a sharecropper. Before that, my great grandfather was a sharecropper and slave for a portion of time, right? The social issues part is very interesting in farming. I'm out of it now. I'm doing engineering now. But when the Biden administration came out with the incentive for black farmers who had been discriminated against, that seemed like a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And then when that was taken away, again, a social issue regarding food, I kind of saw that as like a slap in the face almost, because it was something that was documented and was proven. And Vader, I see here that you're in-law esquire here, to have something that people just wrote off as reparations rather than what it really was, a class action lawsuit, was kind of horrible. And it's why we see so many black individuals like leaving farming. You know, we have our aging population. I'm 32 myself, and I wouldn't tell my son to get into it because of some of the systemic barriers that we faced going into agriculture.
I agree with you 100%, and you see it every single day. I mean, you see it, and I don't know what it is with Southern and West, country Western or farming, whatever you want to call it down here. Man, I can't disagree with you on that. And that's one thing that keeps me a Democrat is these social issues. Like and I've talked about it ad nauseum. Like I'm a capitalist. I believe in free market solutions. That's why we've had these discussions. But I also know that it has its limitations. And this is one of them. Like it becomes a social issue and somebody cannot operate in the free market without some sort of equity in the process. We're not talking about equality anymore. We're talking about equity.
Exactly.
And these individuals aren't given that same opportunity. Like even like just the color of your skin in this particular market, guys, you could buy 1,000 acres in the middle of the breadbasket. You have the best soil on the planet. You have everything set up in your favor. You have like all the positive ramifications that the free market can handle, that can give you. But your competitor next door that happens to have white skin, whenever you go to the market, he's able to negotiate with the supplier a little bit better than you are. And that ultimately requires you to take less money, and over time, and you are not given the same equity in the market. That's not free market. That's not how this is supposed to work. If there's people operating at a disadvantage, that's not a good thing. That's why I like this Farming While Beige guy. He talks, this is another thing that he talks about, in the fact that it's not that we should just be incentivizing black people to go farm. That's how this gets misconstrued.
Yeah,
it's
I want to make sure it's clear. I'm not saying that whatsoever.
Yeah, nobody's saying that. What we're saying is that they should have the same equity. And how do we address that is where the argument needs to be, not on the efficacy and the essentialness of this, and the fact that there is a underlying bias in our society. And when the rubber meets the road, certain individuals don't get the same outcomes as everybody else. That is a fucking problem, and we need to fix that if we're going to call ourselves capitalists.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
I disagree.
Okay.
I do not see any racial barriers. Now, financial.
You're in Illinois, though.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, and I know this is anecdotal, but when I was out in West Texas and I set up a rain collection system at the property, my neighbors immediately called people on me and were like, "Hey, now, yes, technically it was against our regulations, but then I had another neighbor who did the exact same thing, no problems." I'm telling you that there are small microaggressions that happen consistently with the haggling or going out to a farmer's market or anything like that. If I sent out an employee who was lighter skinned, I guarantee you they're picking up more eggs than if I'm out there. These are things that really occur and is a real is a systemic part of doing business as a farmer, as a black person. It's happening. It has happened, and we've got records of it, and that's why they were sending out these funds the same way that you're saying that the farmers are receiving it, to make up for that in a free market capitalist environment. It's really crazy. I'm letting you know that maybe you haven't experienced it, but this is my life experience and the experience of other black farmers. And again, they're slowly dying out. And we have an aging population with, he talked about the 28-year-old millennial that don't want to take it because they see the burnout that happens, and it's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with where you live. Absolutely. I mean, like where I'm from, I have a crop insurance business. I insure women, minorities. Nobody really cares. I mean, there's going to always be people that care, but nobody's really affected by that here in Central Illinois. Now, the biggest challenge for anybody, first generation, is cost of entry, right? Equipment costs, land costs. There's a huge experience curve. Those are the biggest challenges for younger or minority people here. But I don't see anything in terms of racial barriers in my part of the world.
And I'm glad that you haven't experienced that, but it does exist. And what happens also, and it's happened, land theft for black farmers who've lost large portions of their land due to, and this has happened previously. It doesn't happen as much in the 2000s, but if you go back 60s, 70s, losing large swaths, acres, dozens of acres of land over time. But with that being said, I am disappointed in the Trump administration for removing that equity that was there, and ultimately it leads to less people being interested in entering the farming field, and gives more rise to like these corporate conglomerates that are basically maintaining the food supply in our country. No disrespect to you, waste of time. Obviously, you're doing your part in contributing, but I'm saying that overarching, that's what's happening currently.
I mean, if people are experiencing that, I mean, I don't know. I know what's hard is when you have land. I mean, you can't pick up your land and move it. But like me, I mean, there's places in Illinois, I would not live. I would not live. I'd maybe farm there. If it was 50 miles away, I'd go farm it. But there are places in Illinois, Indiana, I would not live. It's not worth it. You gotta be somewhere where you have a future for you and your family, because you're not gonna. I mean, it's not gonna change in one generation. It's gonna take time. I mean, that's the big thing for me is you gotta settle somewhere where you can acclimate, basically.
I don't know if y'all just heard my rooster. Like if we're talking about like I mean the point Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. This is something that doesn't change overnight. I just like, what do we do? Do we say that like somebody that wants to go sign a specific loan, they can get like a tax-free loan or with some sort of subsidy that's worth $3 million? But I mean, with the way inflation has taken root, being able to buy that land has become even more expensive. And I mean, yes, I'm tax exempt here, but I mean, the system isn't set up for the generational farmer. So say that like, you know, old man dies at 65. His son is 28. He's not necessarily going to take that particular route at that point, not to mention the fact that prices have gone through the roof, and he's going to have to take, like, he can't go take another loan as a brand new farmer at that point, because he's just going to take over the existing operation. So, you know, like, there's no, and then they end up failing usually within 5 years. We're not teaching people how to run these businesses. And I mean, is there any incentive to do so? Is the newer generations even inclined to get out in the field? Like, yeah, they may be willing to plant some tomatoes in their front yard, but that's not what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking about running. Yeah, that tractor may be on auto run for 8 hours a day, and you're basically just sitting into the cabin listening to the radio, but you're still sitting in there, and you got to be in there. You know, like that's, you know, like that. The people don't want to do that. They want to go be fucking YouTubers or streamers, or at least my daughter does. Like, they want to go do shit like that. They don't want to think about going out there and dropping 50-pound bale or 50-pound bags of feed for the cattle.
All right.
So how do we incentivize?
Stop coming after me. What the fuck?
Yeah, you, Mojo. That's what's going to drive food prices down, guys, is like more food, supply and demand.
Yeah, it's not like you can just go to a school and learn how to do these things. It's an experience. There's no school or book you can read that teaches you when the ground is dry enough to plant it.
You learn that shit that's passed down over generations.
Right.
Like, whenever it's hot and windy in Texas in the spring, it's probably going to storm that night.
Yeah.
That's shit that's passed down.
You got to hang out. You got to hang out the watering hole for years and listen to the people that have done it. And it's different in every region. You go 30 miles away, it's a whole different ballgame. Different ground, different rules. I mean, it takes a lot. I'll be honest.
CT, you do have a very good point down there. The Department of Education that helped fund the FFA. And I mean, 4-H programs, those used to be big. I mean, I was in FFA when I was in high school. Like, I was a reserve champion at the Houston Livestock Show. I did that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that used to be cool. It's not anymore. I mean, have y'all seen FFA enrollments? How much they've dropped? Like, they couldn't even fill what is it? Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, wherever they hold the FFA convention, the National FFA convention every year. They couldn't even fill the stadium. That used to be something that was a packed out house. Like, that was a big deal. Whenever it was blue corduroy jacket. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
Oh, no, you're fine, Vader. Because so again, I'm in Western Virginia, very rural area. Our FFA is a very large chapter, and stuff like that. So we're not seeing the drop off. But the crazy thing is other schools in the Shenandoah Valley, like that is a huge agricultural area, is seeing that decline though.
Vader, did you see my camera?
I did. That's a big deal, bud.
I had the smallest book at state. I was going up against all these kids with like 10 times my acres. But my interview was what won it for me.
That's crazy. I was a state FFA officer, and then I did livestock judging. That was what I did because I mean my family raises beef. We don't do it for profit, but that was big for me.
You're not in Illinois and Indiana, are you?
No, I'm in Texas.
Ah, shit. The guy I've been buying quarters from, the packing place burned down. But now I don't know where I'm getting my meat at.
Yeah, this is pretty boring. You guys suck. Terrible.
I was going to say, I came up for the FFA conversation. My daughter ran for state office.
Okay.
Let's go.
Really?
You know, Vader, what you got to do is teach your daughter how to YouTube this shit. So all the knowledge of the old farmers, she should run around and talk to all the old farmers, get all the old knowledge,
That'd be cool.
and then put YouTube videos up there. So this is what you do in Texas. This is what you do in this area of Texas. She should talk to other friends around the country so that you can get all the stories from all the people that have been doing it forever, and then create some sort of a community of growers, or at least teachers of growers.
Store it in AI data centers that take all of our water, Mojo. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So Vader, I actually taught in a urban FFA chapter that had the first black state officer in Indiana.
No shit.
Yep. It was specifically started. Chicago has one. They have a urban agriculture program, and we modeled it. And this girl, she won state office, ended up being a lawyer. I went to University of Michigan. Didn't farm, but
I didn't. I mean, all I do is pretty much just keep the business going. I mean, it's not like I'm back there, fucking, during cabin season or some shit like that.
How far are you around White County, Indiana?
No, I'm near Indy.
Oh god. Well, that's not that far. Hour and a half.
Yep.
You know Monticello?
Yeah, sure do.
I farm just south of Monticello.
Okay. Yeah, we had aquaculture. We had chickens. We tried to do like South Putnam. You probably know about them. They have a tilapia operation. At least they did. I don't know if they still do.
This is such a good conversation because, if you go back 100 years, half of America was involved in farming. 50 years after that, about 25%. We're down to about 1.5% of the United States is involved in agriculture. And that's a negative thing. Because they don't even think about where their food comes from. Yeah,
I just went to Italy and we took a train from Rome to Florence, and to see the countryside with all these little small farms everywhere, it made me jealous. Like, I wish we could go back.
So Europe's a lot. So my family farmed in Germany, and the rule in Germany was the oldest male sibling got the farm, and that's how they kept them in the family. So my grandfather, well, not my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather and his brother were not the oldest. So they came over to the United States, and they ended up in eastern Illinois, and that's how we ended up where we're at. But that's how those farms over there all stayed in the family. They never sell them, one, and two, it always stays with the oldest sibling, and that's how they keep it in the family over there. They still do it in Germany. Hell, in the United States, you got 5 siblings, 1 farms, you're fucked. They leave it to all 5, and they all want to sell it. And like he said, you either put solar on it or wind farms, data centers, all that shit.
Is anyone ready for a subject change?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've beat this one pretty good.
What would you guys like to talk about?
Anything.
You guys can pick. I'm down for whatever.
Oh, while we're thinking about the subject change switch, those of you that know Ironside, or even if you don't, try to swing by his live today. It should have started at roughly around 2 o'clock. He's doing a Memorial Day live for all, for veterans to remember the fallen, any family members, any ties. You don't even have to have ties to the military community, but if you guys could just go over and show him some love and support, that would be great.
Is there anybody that served in the panel?
You said it already has started, or it's going to start? At about 2. I don't know what time zone you're referring to.
He said he was going. He said he was going to start up at around 2 p.m. Eastern. But he said that could be give or take.
That was an hour ago.
I serve on the panel every single day. On the panel.
I did a tour in Verdansk and 2 tours in Tilted Towers.
That's Fortnite, I think.
I dated someone in ROTC in college.
That's this is crazy.
You like that?
Now you're sounding like millennial who said that she dated a farm dude once.
I got recruited by the Navy, but I was too tall.
I've got a friend that's a farmer. I don't know.
We're not talking farm anymore.
I got recruited by the SEALs, but they told me I'd be too dangerous, so they didn't let me.
I don't know why Democrats hate farmers.
You don't know why Democrats what?
They hate farmers. Every time I go to live, I'm like, oh,
I don't hate farmers. What?
I just feel like Democrats are always like, well,
I don't hate farmers at all, and I think to the extent you run a farm, I think that's hard work. I think it's really hard work. I think no, don't hate farmers at all. What I don't like is what the government does and corporations do with farmers. That's what I don't like.
That's what I was about to say. We're historically not the ones to remove farmer subsidies, so how the fuck do Democrats hate farmers?
I just didn't want to talk about farms anymore.
He's teacupping. He forgot the rest of his script.
Hello. I think it's Thomas Frank. What's the matter with Kansas? Pretty interesting book from back in the day that talked about farmers and poor people voting against their best interest, economically speaking, because of social issues. And it seems like that's what farmers do a lot in this country. So I would tend to not like you based on the simple notion that the vast majority of your needs are going to be better or more adequately sustained by Democrats rather than Republicans, but yet you all still choose to vote for Republicans. Doesn't make any sense to me.
You're right, Vader. Sorry, not Vader, the other one, Mojo. You're right, Mojo, because farmers are historically known for being very intelligent.
What? That's crazy.
Aren't they also aligned with the evangelicals in large part? A lot of farmers.
Yeah, that's plays into the
Christianity, and vote vis-a-vis Christianity, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I live in a very, very red district in Colorado that is the Eastern Plains of Colorado. There's a lot of farmers in this area, and they tend to vote red. And they don't care about much of anything else short of those tea people nowadays. That's all they care about.
Yeah, they can't have a problem with immigration, then they would lose their employees for the most part.
I don't think any of us have a problem with immigration. It's just the undocumented immigration.
That's what I mean, Jimbo. Read between the lines.
Well, you can't hire an undocumented?
Yes, you can. In fact, the government has allowed many programs for farmers to hire. I forget the name of it. Maybe somebody else can chime in on that. But where a lot of Midwest farmers don't have the manpower to work their fields, the government has allowed for for people to come over and work. Am I wrong?
No, Dennis, because I had an athlete whose family owned a dairy farm, and most of his employees were undocumented immigrants that had ITIN numbers. Technically,
right. They paid taxes. It was the government allowed for that, right? And in fact, the whole that town is it in Ohio where the cats and dogs, they were eating the cats and dogs? I think the government allowed for people to come over from Haiti because that town was in ruins, and those Haitians came over and they built that town. This isn't farming, but they thrived in that town, right? And that the government allowed them to, but then the right, said they were eating their cats and dogs, right? I mean, Waste, are you aware of those programs where the government does allow for people to come into the country and work farms and work in dilapidated towns?
I guess I would consider that documented immigrants. We know they're here, correct?
Right, but the point is why not allow them to come in and work? I agree with people who don't want felons in the country. I think most people on the left don't want that either. Right, but the people that are just coming and working and just trying to build a life, I say let them all in. In fact, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have no problem with documented immigrants. We know who they are. Like you said, they have a number. They're paying taxes.
I don't think you know what that means.
Yeah, explain to me the difference between documented and undocumented immigrants. Redacted.
One of them has documents. One of them does not.
Right, so we know
undocumented does not mean that they are this legal specter that in no way can be found. That's not what that means.
Right, isn't that a bad thing? We shouldn't have people like that, correct?
No. They're good for business.
Redacted. Feed that kitty. Damn it.
You what?
What do you mean by good for business?
They're good for business.
Cryptic, can I get your age and who you voted for, please?
Yeah, 19 Harris, but I'm not a communist though.
Okay. Thanks for pointing that out.
Wait, not to attack you or anything.
I don't really care one way or another. I just thought it was an interesting thing. Is it because of the backgrounds, I suppose?
Yeah.
So what's an ITIN number redaction? Is that a document?
It can be considered a form of documentation, yes.
That's how they pay taxes.
Well, isn't that a documented immigrant then?
That was the question, I think, that he was asking you, redacted. Doesn't that make that person documented? You guys are talking about undocumented.
Yeah.
They tend to work under the
It depends
table.
on who you ask, honestly. Because some people still choose to say that even if they have an ITIN number, they're still considered undocumented because they're not here on a green card, they're not here for an asylum seeker, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, but if you know who they are...
That's essentially what I was trying to get at, is that we're calling these people... Oh, sorry.
Well, if you know who they are and you've done a background check on them, they're kind of documented. That would be the whole purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So are we all agreeing that if someone's here and they have no documentation, they do not speak English, we have no idea what their background is, those guys got to go, correct?
No.
No. Okay. Why is that?
I don't agree with that.
Well, what?
Because
Wait, why?
Because there's not... I can't think of a sector that they are not beneficial to.
Well, yeah, but they're not documented though. Like that's already a risk.
I don't give a fuck.
So if they commit a major crime, how will we be able to get
major crime? Wait.
If they committed a major crime, then we'll probably just elect them fucking president. Stop acting like you guys give a shit about law and order. How about that?
He voted.
Well, I didn't vote for Trump, so you arguing that is not really a nice argument. Or
I wasn't necessarily talking to you, Cryptic. I was speaking in general.
Yeah, well, you said they commit major crimes. I mean, that's a freaking leap, okay?
But that's still that's back to the point. Then why should we not document them if they commit a crime? How will we ever find them? Or it would be hard for us to find them, and they could spit out the
with evidence.
If they commit a crime, then apprehend them and prosecute them as such.
How do you apprehend someone if you don't know their name?
You don't know nothing.
Because they
They're
commit
not
a crime.
a fucking specter.
We have something called police, right? So if somebody is committed a crime, it's investigated and they're they're apprehended and then they're arraigned for said crime, right?
But what about the slave labor? Wait, but I have a quick question. What about the slave labor? Because they have no bargaining power to ask for more money because they can get deported. So if they want less
that's
money,
capitalism, bro. Welcome to America.
So are you okay with slave labor, though?
I'm not okay with slave labor. However,
But why
that
should
is
you-
an
why-
aspect of the economic structure in which we
Well, no,
live.
but we have labor
can't-
laws to go against that, though.
which is why they're good for business.
What?
Actually,
If you
there
want them
is
to
such
stop coming in undocumented, then go after the business owners that are hiring them, not
Okay,
them.
sure. Let's go back. Let's go. Okay, sure. Let's do that too. But don't be against it. Then just have another alternative way of doing it. It's like you're pro them being illegal. Like I actually asked him out.
No, he asked me why it was a good thing. That's why. That's why this has been a problem, and a very heavy air quotes problem for 40 years, but hasn't been fixed because they don't apply. The labor laws don't apply to them.
Okay, so would you be would you agree that we should go for a business owner to have a quicker and better way of actually finding out who these people are?
Yes, but we won't.
So you
Can
are
I
against
point
illegal-
out? Can I point out to you that we could have had that if the Langford bill had been passed? Right? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, the Langford bill was the bill that limits asylum seekers, that was giving Ukraine funding, and that the Republicans reject because Trump told them to. Back in
The Langford bill more majorly would have allowed more processing on the border of people wanting to come into the country and claim asylum and claim amnesty or whatever. But it would have allowed you want documentation of who these people are, and that would have helped, but that didn't happen. And I would just lastly would point out that this administration hasn't done anything to introduce any such legislation like the Langford bill.
I agree. I think the Republicans are only looking at the short-term efforts, not the long-term efforts. But that's not the point. The point was that y'all are okay with people staying illegal. Y'all don't have no alternative ways for them to become citizens. Y'all just okay with them being illegal.
Critic, I don't understand how you're getting that from our point when we're literally wanting the Langford bill, which would have decreased the amount of time to reach citizenship. It would have given us more immigration judges and everything like that.
Yeah, but that only stops at the start of the root cause, though. They're already in the country. What should we do now? What should be the solution
them.
to the first people?
Process them, right? Don't have a paramilitary running around with masks on, terrorizing not only them but American citizenry, right? And then throwing them detained into these camps where all kinds of bad things are happening, and they're just staying there. They're not even going back to their country. That's no way to deal with them.
So you support amnesty then, right?
If it's appropriate, I support amnesty. You know what amnesty is?
Yes, it's getting rid of a certain crime.
No, that's
Yeah.
not what amnesty is.
What is amnesty then?
Amnesty is where somebody is coming over. Well, yeah. I mean, they're granted people. It's kind of rare, I think, amnesty.
Well, we did amnesty
Where
under
someone's
Reagan.
granted amnesty of something that they've done wrong in this country, but they've done something right, and they're granted by the government the right to stay here. But what happens more often is asylum, right? And you have a right to seek asylum in this country, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
amnesty
why
is
not just let nonviolent, people with families just stay here, and so they can work, so that there are jobs for them to work.
I agree. I think immigration is good for America.
Okay, good. We agree.
But you have to, you have to have a way to document them. Because what Cryptic is saying is correct. If they do commit a crime, you have no way of figuring out who it is. It's the brown guy with the short, dark hair. I mean, you're not going to be able to find who it is. You're not going to be able to charge them in a court of law. They don't have a name. You can't even arrest a particular person because they don't have a name or any identification at all. So I think what he's saying is that you just have to make sure those people get documented. Leaving people here undocumented is probably not a good idea. So the solution would be to let them be legal. So instead of paying $8,000 to $10,000 deport them from the country, we charge them a $500 fine. We do the background checks on them, and if they're allowed to stay here, then you give them a work permit and allow them to jump in at the back of the line.
And that's kind of what I'm saying,
I
is
like
that's
that.
not going to happen because keeping them undocumented is too much of a benefit to business.
How does it benefit
That's
businesses? All right, you keep saying that. How
because
does
they
that?
don't have to pay as much.
Yeah, so when you pay under the table, you don't have to pay as much. Does that not harm all the other businesses around that want to do it legally?
We don't give a fuck.
But that's not true, though. Kamala Harris advocated.
I give a fuck. Don't mistranslate me as saying that I don't give a fuck.
The country gives a fuck too, because if you get rid of competition because they can't compete with the company that's using labor under the table, then those companies are going to go out of business, and you're going to end up with one sole provider for things. And we kind of like free markets and competition.
No, we don't.
I would argue we do.
No, we don't. We say we do on the campaign trail, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty, no, the fuck we don't.
I disagree. Unfair business practices are charged all the time by Democratic and Republican governments.
Redacted, feed your poor kitty.
Which one? There are three that are crying at me. I fed them last
Well,
night.
then all three of them.
It's all liberals. All liberals. They yell at all of you. Give me something to yell at you about.
I disagree. I think that I don't think that the law is divvied out fairly. I think that if a certain business says something against somebody in power or does something that the powers that you don't like, all of a sudden then the law is applied. You know what I mean? Like officer discretion and stuff like that. Oh, well, yeah, you're legally allowed to burn this flag, but do you have a burn permit? No. All right, then you're getting arrested for burning the flag. Shit like that, right? The law is not applied equally. It never has been. So yes, the laws are on the books and they get prosecuted all the time, but they definitely take a back seat to.
I disagree. I just think it goes by loopholes. If you're able to find a loophole of the law, that's how you usually get rid of them. It's not that it doesn't apply to you. You just find a loophole against to go around it. Usually rich people find loopholes, and the more lower and poor people usually don't.
Don't rich people usually own the businesses?
Well, yeah. And they find loopholes to go around everything.
So, potato, tomato.
Well, not really, because you're saying it doesn't apply to them. It's applying to them, but they're finding loopholes to get rid of it or go around it.
So then close the loopholes.
Tomato.
Excuse me?
I said, so then close the loopholes, just like the tax loopholes.
I agree. Kamala Harris said she was going to do it, but didn't get elected. So we got a very pro-billionaire president, billionaire president who's in office who don't really care about it. He said himself he used the loopholes, so they ain't getting closed anytime soon.
Black markets are inherently against the law, and they're going to inherently exist in a capitalistic system. But the black market for labor is something that we should probably put a kibosh on, because this is utilizing human capital. And the more you use it, the more likely you are to head towards slavery. So if you are paying somebody under the table and you're paying them a lot less than a normal person that would be above the table, then you are moving towards slavery at that point. And if it's a downhill turn and everybody starts using illegal immigrants to do whatever job that you're talking about, whatever market you're talking about, then there's going to be competition that's driving wages down at that point, not up.
But Mojo, is it human labor or human slave labor is inherent to every economic system? Communism, socialism, capitalism?
Well, I would call profit-driven businesses theft of labor, but that's neither here nor there. I think you just can't allow these black markets for human capital, for human labor. They can't exist, because when they do exist, then other companies are going to be run under. Otherwise, they have to take on that same illegal action just to compete.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's trying to force companies to break the law.
I'm not saying I'm trying to force companies to break the law. I'm trying to say that companies are trying to skirt the law in order to drive the price of labor down, because that's your biggest input cost usually.
Yeah, I get that, but the people that don't want to break the law, you say skirt the law, it's not skirting the law. They're flat out breaking the law by hiring people under the table.
That's fair.
So you're suggesting that they should be able to break the law and then put other companies out of business because they have the ability to do it cheaper because they are breaking the law. And I just don't agree with that.
Through the lens of capitalism, yes. I'm not saying that is morally what they should be able to do. However, if we're going to exist in a capitalistic system, there's going to be much more incentive to do that than there is to follow the law.
Well, sure, and as you said earlier, though, you put those corporations in jail. You put the people running those corporations or making those decisions in jail.
But we don't and won't.
I think we will, because I don't think the government necessarily cares about who's providing the broccoli as long as somebody's providing the broccoli.
Wait, redacted. Is your argument we haven't done it in the past, so we won't do it in the future?
Unless something drastically changes, yes.
But isn't like that's how nearly everything happened in the world? Like something drastically changes and then it happens. Like, you're saying yeah, but it's like you're arguing like it won't happen because it never happened though. But it could happen though. Like we see historically in America, major things happen from a drastic change.
I agree. I could wake up tomorrow and start shitting gold bricks and be able to quit my job. However, the likelihood of that isn't much.
I think you're lying. I don't think you'll ever be able to shit gold bricks.
Redacted. If you eat the glitter gold crayons, yes, you will effectively be able to.
See?
What's your thoughts on the Iranian conflict right now? Host Mojo.
The same as any other Democrat. We're all going to be the same side. Iran is stupid.
Do you think the RGC should go though? Like, do you support the Iranian that theocracy to really go?
I think terrorism is born from American imperialism.
What? You think a terrorism just started when like the early 20th century when America actually became imperialist?
Yeah, I think these outside groups that are trying to protect their nations or their peoples are something that is an inherent result of the imperialism that has come from the West. If we would just leave, they'd have nobody to attack.
So why the majority of people they attack are within their own countries?
The RGC.
85% of all T attacks are inside of the Middle East.
The RGC does not attack within their own country.
Are you sure? They attacked their own protesters.
Well, I don't know if that was the RGC or if it was just a standard bog police force. The RGC is the military wing, not the police force.
For them to, but for them to actually have major enforcement, like a major protest like that, they called the RGC, they called the military force to regulate that. The local police force couldn't stop that. 100,000 protests?
Even if that's true, I wouldn't call that a terrorist action. That's just the government acting against protesters
by unaliving them.
Okay, that's not a terrorist action. It's a police action.
Unaliving people by political views is terrorism. That's like the definition of terrorism.
No, definition of terrorism would be an outside actor, right? Not something outside of a government.
Well, so you can't do attacks within your own country?
Not from a government stance, no. That's just a police force.
So, I just want to confirm that you're saying a government can't do attacks within their own country?
Yes.
Definitionally.
So like America, we decided to do like the 911 attack again, but to another building. That's not a T attack. That's just us doing us.
If Americans are attacking Americans and Americans are attacking American buildings or infrastructure, then no, it's not terrorism. It's just a crime.
But terrorism. But wait, terrorism. Wait, where's the definition of terrorism? Does it say it has to be an outside source? It just has to be.
That's what it is. That's just what it is.
We can't.
Right?
If I go to like some synagogue and just unalive everyone there, that's me doing a T attack on Jewish people.
That's crime.
Wait, yeah,
It's
is.
a biased crime, but it's a crime.
It is just
If you're
crime,
an
and
American.
we don't have domestic terror groups in the U.S. We do not have a legal definition of a domestic terror group.
Wait, sure, we don't have a current one, but you're saying it can't exist though.
And I'm saying it can't. No, because terrorism is from one country to another.
But that's not true though. They could be terrorists within their own though. Like the ISIS can terrorize Iraq even though they were started in Iraq. Or the Hezbollah can terrorize the Jordanian people.
From one country to another. So in France, if there are outside forces coming in and attacking French people, it's a terrorist attack, right? But a French person is charged with a crime if they do they break the law and they. So, for example, like a nightclub gets pew-pewed, right? That happened in Florida. That wasn't a terrorist attack. That was an American citizen committing a crime, right? These school pew-pewings, those are.
Are we forgetting about the counterterrorism agenda that was just let out, that was just put out in May?
But it hasn't been enacted as a crime.
Narco-terrorism, Islamic terrorism, and
But Messi, yeah, they might have done that in the executive branch, and which is completely, it's not law. The only thing that's law is that which is codified by Congress.
I have a question. So if this, let's just say Israel decided to occupy Gaza and start to attack people, would that not be considered terrorism no more?
Gaza is part of Israel, right?
So currently, so what you're telling me right now is Israel not currently doing T attacks on Gaza because that's a part of Israel, right?
Somebody else take this.
I wouldn't call it a
Cryptic's
terrorist.
actually right.
it's technically cleansing and a genocide.
Yeah, you could
Terrorism.
I
don't know.
You can't say it's theism though, but you can't say it's theism if that's within their own country though.
All right. So my definition of terrorism would be to attack an innocent civilian population in order to gain some political capital or to get a government to change its ways. That would be my
That's
definition.
pretty much what the definition is. It has nothing to do with whether it's on the behalf of another country or not. It's political violence in furtherance of a political gain.
But see, we
example-
don't define domestic terrorism though. We don't have
Right.
that.
We don't define domestic terrorism groups. We divide domestic terrorism is an action which is defined as any
Please
sort of
bring up-
violence.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, really quick, if somebody does such things, right, in the name of political violence, you're charged in a state with a crime like murder or armed robbery or arson. These things aren't charged as terrorism. They're charged as murder, they're charged as arson, and they're charged armed robbery. There's no charge of terrorism. You see?
Tennis, have you seen the counterterrorism agenda statement that came out in May? Where it says, we will find you and we will kill you if you are a counter-terrorist, Islamic terrorist, or a radical left-wing
I saw it.
Anarchist or anti-fascist.
Yeah, but like
They're
I said,
not charging you with anything now. They're just going to kill us, basically, is what that fucking document said.
yeah, like that's just the executive terrorist branch of government, doing its executive orders and doing its executive bullshit that has not passed muster before Congress. Who does what? Who makes the laws?
I have to agree with Tennis. Well, I won't say agree with y'all now, but I will agree slightly because I just searched it up. What Tyler Robertson did to Charlie Kirk wasn't considered theism, but it fit the definition of what a theism is, though. So now I'm confusing again.
Well, Charlie Kirk was schmurder, right?
Yeah, I know, but
in the state of what? What was that state? Idaho? Not Idaho.
Utah.
But it was it's charged as schmurder, first degree, second degree, depraved, whatever they call it in that state.
Yeah, but he did it from unless they could prove like intent of political aggression, he did it for political aggression. So wouldn't that be defined as terrorism also, or terrorism also?
No, because I think Lee Harvey Oswald was not charged with terrorism when
Timothy McVeigh
JFK happened, right?
Yeah, what was Timothy McVeigh charged with?
McVeigh was just charged with it wasn't terrorism. It was charged in a federal court, and he ended up going to a federal prison. But it wasn't terrorism. I don't remember what his exact charges were.
It's probably to the extent he schmurdered people, right? People unalived, right? So it would be schmurder and attempted schmurder for those who did not unalive, right? So anyway, I mean, it's really semantical, but no, we don't have crimes for domestic terrorism, not in the books.
Well, isn't treason the crime for domestic, like treason and getting hung or something? Like, what was that guy who?
Treason is treason. Treason is just a straight up crime by itself.
But isn't that theism?
Yeah, and Timothy McVeigh was only charged with conspiracy to use a weapon or a WMD, 1 count of using a WMD, 1 count of destruction by explosives, and 8 counts of first degree murder.
Right? First degree murder. Sammy?
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So no treason or anything like that.
This is confusing, to be honest, because there's so much loopholes to this.
I don't think it's confusing. It's just the way the laws are written. Cryptic.
Well, yeah, but if we consider theism unaliving someone for a political act, then we have to consider what Tyler Robinson did theism, but that's not considered theism. But if a person from another country did it, it will be considered theism, I think. So, like this is a confusing topic. Like, it depends how you interpret the law.
And even like the Boston Marathon, they were not charged with terrorism either.
For real?
For real. Yeah. So they were a conspiracy with WMDs, booming a place of public use, and then of course weapons and carjacking offenses.
Yeah, we don't have domestic terrorism laws in this country. There is no such thing as a domestic terrorist.
So can theism be domestic?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody would consider it domestic. I think it has to be on an outside country.
Yeah, by the FBI definition, it's an out-of-state actor.
All right, then. Wait, but we don't have one. But does it exist in other countries though, or this is like a broad statement, like no country have one?
I don't know.
think. I don't know either. But I don't think I couldn't think of any countries off the top of my head that charge crimes for domestic terrorism. I don't know. Maybe Ireland, the IRA. Maybe if you go back that far, maybe they had some sort of crime against domestic terrorism. I don't know.
Actually, there are many countries that have. So the UK does, Australia does. Hold on.
For domestic terrorism, they have laws for.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does domestic terrorism mean terrorism done by a native-born citizen, or a terrorist done by within your country? Like, can a native-born citizen of a country do domestic terrorism, or that won't be considered domestic terrorism?
I think it would be considered treason or sedition.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be charged with seditious conspiracy? I believe.
So domestic terrorism is terrorism done by another person within your own country?
by somebody from another country.
I think the phrase domestic terrorism is bandied about a lot because it just is. There's no crime per se, and these other things. If the actor is looking to overthrow the government in some way, then you have treason and sedition, but not per se. A crime, domestic terrorism. It's just a phrase you hear a lot, but it's not a crime for which you get prosecuted.
In which, Tennis, I saw like Tony and some of the others that were talking about down in the comments. Technically, I guess you could make an argument for like hate crime laws.
Yeah, I said that at the beginning. That doesn't bias crime. In New York, they have bias crimes. Okay, so in the 90s, if a crime, and I'm sure this is in other states too, but if a crime is committed with respect to which the intent to do it involved racism, for example, that you committed, you assaulted somebody, and it could be proven that the reason that you did that was racially motivated, it adds an extra charge of a bias crime. And that can really up the crime, that can really levy a heavier sentence on that defendant. But yeah, that's a bias crime. That's different than domestic terrorism, but yeah.
So there.
What's the original argument?
I forgot. Just you got so big on definitions. Forgot.
Well, we started talking.
What was the original argument?
We started talking about Iran, and then the IRGC, and whether the IRGC was a terrorist group when they were committing actions inside Iran. I'm not sure. My suggestion was that the IRGC wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Western influence in the area. If we weren't trying to imperialize the Middle East, then I don't think these terrorist groups would exist.
But that's not true, though. Theism in the Middle East started before the Crusades. Actually, I think it was during the time of the Crusades. But Theism in the Middle East was always there before Western powers, before colonization. This is radical religions on both sides. I'm a Christian, but I can even say for Christianity existed before Muslims came over here, before Christians came over there. It was always radical groups. You can say it's more preponderance now, sure, but it always existed, though.
It was a different world when the governments didn't control all the militaries. But if the government's controlling all the militaries, then it's not terrorism, then it's just state action. I don't know. I think that the terrorist groups we're talking about today, like Hezbollah, I don't know. The IRGC is kind of semi-terrorist, semi-state run, but they don't actually do the majority of the stuff.
I think you can say they're militia, because I wouldn't consider the Taliban terrorist group. I consider them a militia group because they don't really do terror attacks outside their countries or even within. But it's sense. Like a militia group, though.
Yeah, but the IRGC does attack Israel and stuff, so I don't, or other countries.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm not sure. I just think that a lot of these organizations, ISIS and Al Qaeda and shit like that, these all formed because of Western imperialism.
I guess
100%.
Right. Well, I don't know about the Yemenis, Houthis. I don't know how they formed, but Hezbollah and ISIS or ISIS, I agree on that one. But do you think we should just leave?
I mean, Yemen has essentially been caught in the middle. So yeah, it was still Western influence that caused the Houthis.
So what do? We just leave? I would say maybe take some time and just get everybody out of there and leave them to their own devices. I suppose. I don't know how that works out I don't know what the solution is.
I was thinking about that. I was confused how it works out.
I suspect there'd be a much larger country that engulfs a few other countries that exist right now.
Well, I would say if we, which I am all for getting out of there, but also I could see the downside of leaving essentially everybody over there to the whims of the I country.
Yeah, we did the same thing in Rwanda, I guess, or we didn't do it, but Great Britain did. They went in there and they separated groups of people to try and make them easier to control. And then when they left the Hutus and the Tutsis as separate groups, and they ended up still hating each other even after Great Britain left, and they ended up fighting and macheting each other to death. So if we just up and leave without trying to make everything stable again, then we're probably leaving a worse situation than exists now. So I guess we'd have to figure out the best way to leave, but
Don't we always leave everything worse than when we found it?
it does seem like that, doesn't it?
Well, now Trump is saying he's going to remove his blockade, and the strait's going to be open. So there.
Yeah,
but it was open, but it was open before. So
I think Iran is saying that there's parts of that agreement that they're simply not ever going to agree to.
Let's not forget to remember all the innocent hundreds of thousands of millions of people that were unalive based on Western values.
Right.
But I'm sorry, like, it's gonna be said for each region, though, Western, Eastern, like their values also on like hundreds of thousands, also of millions. Like, I understand. Like, I think a lot of people in the West, I would say more left-leaning people. I'm left-leaning also, but a lot of left-leaning people think Western values is a horrible thing, and then it's the reason for unalivement of the millions. But I won't disagree with that. I would just say it wasn't just Western values, though. Eastern values did the same thing. This is humans around the world. I can just say the Western people are just better at unaliving people, which is not a great thing, but this is like a thing.
Okay, I'll change it to let's not to forget to remember all of the hundreds of millions of thousands of bazillion peoples that have been unalive for an hour.
Did you say bazillions?
What's up?
Nothing. We're bored talking about stupid shit.
Yeah.
Tell us how to make sandwiches.
I was just on my way to the kitchen, actually. What kind of sandwich?
The only good sandwich, a Publix sandwich, is from Publix.
we're grilling hot dogs. It's Memorial Day. I don't usually eat hot dogs, but my husband called and he's like, should I pick up some hot dogs? And I go, why? I don't eat hot dogs. Oh, yeah, it's Memorial Day. Okay, let's grill some hot dogs.
You know what I just bought? I bought one of those things that, you know that they have like in 7-Eleven where they cook the hot dogs and the hot dogs keep rolling?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I call them hot dog rollers. I don't know what they're
I don't know
called.
what the fuck it's called. But, yeah, I got one of those. I'm pretty excited to use it. It doesn't look fun to clean, though.
Independently wealthy women.
What?
Independently wealthy women. They just go buy hot dog rollers at a whim because, fuck it, I want good hot dogs today.
I also got an indoor grill.
An indoor grill?
Yeah, it should be fun.
What?
You're
No
gonna
charcoal,
make
it's like
Messi want a hot
electric.
dog real bad.
What does that mean, an indoor grill?
It's like I don't know, maybe like a hot plate it could be considered as. You know those big things you make like pancakes on that are like flat and cast
Griddle?
iron?
Yeah.
Griddle. Rosa, it's called a griddle.
Oh, it's a griddle.
Well, now technically they do have smokeless grills, but that's kind of false advertising because there is still smoke involved.
Yeah, and there's no charcoal, so it's not the same flavor. I don't get it. But we'll see.
Those griddles are good, though. I use a griddle every time I cook breakfast. I always thought that was the whole purpose of them.
I don't know, you could do a lot of shit with it. This one's big. big. You do like steaks. You do like it's like the size of a barbecue.
I guess mine's not really that large.
All this stuff is for your main house, not your second house, right?
Well, I can bring it back and forth. It's not a house in the Bronx, Mojo. It's like it's an apartment, obviously.
I don't know. I've never been to the Bronx, so I don't know. It wouldn't be obvious to me.
It's a concrete jungle.
I always thought
where dreams are made of.
What'd you say?
I always thought like New Yorkers are just privileged people. Cause like what do y'all do all day? Just talk about how y'all got your third house and how your kids at soccer practice or whatever New Yorkers do. Like I just think I always thought y'all just act bougie over there.
No, it depends. I mean, the Bronx isn't really bougie. The Bronx is pretty broke. Like a lot of people in the Bronx are like definitely not wealthy. But like the Upper East Side, they're wealthy, well off. You know, there's a lot of places in Manhattan that people are well off.
To be honest, I don't know this like the boroughs of New York. I just know New York. I can't tell you which part is which and which part is wealthy.
There's a part called Upstate, and that's like fields and acres. You can buy like acres up there. It's crazy.
I heard like all the people in the state of New York are all just in New York City, and everywhere else is just land.
Well, no, Long Island is suburbs, right? The city is like a concrete jungle, and then Brooklyn and the Bronx, and then they have Central Park in Manhattan, which is nice. Madison Square, which is nice, but it's all like apartments. Brooklyn is nice. Who lives over? Mads lives in Brooklyn. He lives by the docks in townhouses, which are really nice. They're like brick brownstones. Very nice, a very nice area over there.
You should come to Florida though. It's a better state, no offense to New York over there.
I like Florida. I've been all over Florida. I will make my way down there eventually. Probably when the kids are out of school.
Specifically though, Palm Beach. I live in Palm Beach. It's nice over here. I love it.
Is the golf course in West Palm Beach?
Yeah, I remember growing up, every time I used to have to go to school, Trump motorcade used to always like block me from going to school, and I used to always be late. Well, it wasn't every day, but it was like here and there a few months. But I love it over here in Florida though.
Is that why you're a liberal? Fuck Trump.
That's the first time I ever knew about Trump though, I'll say that. But Palm Beach is a very blue area. Like there's so much liberals over here, which I'm okay with it. But a lot of these,
I won't be moving over there.
But a lot of these kids, though, a lot of like
they need sandwiches too.
But they're far right people though. Like a lot of people around my age, especially in the colleges, they're very far right for some reason. They're either far right or far left. There's no in between.
That is strange, the far right in college, because they're usually indoctrinated right there.
Professors, I would say there are a lot of far left people also. Like it just, if you ever come to colleges, there will never be no centralists. It's either extreme right or extreme left. But it's from what I'm seeing.
I like Boca Raton, where like it's like all old people. It's slow. It's quiet. You know what I mean?
Yes, Boca Raton. I was born in Boca actually. Just moved to Palm Beach, but yeah, Boca is filled with a lot of old people. Retirement ages is if you're retired, you want to just go to Boca.
Yeah, no, I want to go there right now. I want somewhere quiet. I don't want anywhere rowdy.
Well, if you do want to have fun in Florida, though, people keep saying go to Orlando, which sure, Orlando's kind of fun, but Miami though, Miami is extremely fun. Parties every day. All
right, so Miami is like New York. The Strip right there, that's New York City to a T. Like what is it? Willis and what's the next block over there? Begins with C. Collins. New York City.
Like the what's it called? Like you know the guitar building.
The casino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed there in the room with the balconies. It's sick.
Yeah. I think Miami is its own sector of Florida. Like they're just they are like the New York of Florida.
No, because it's dirty like New York. You know, it's like There's bums. There's like people like touristy people. It's like fuck off. It's too busy.
What about Miami? New York. Y'all feel just rats and like paper everywhere.
No. New York is fabulous, and it's not rat. Well, there is a rat problem, but I mean, I go there all the time, and it's not how you're describing it at all.
I see a lot of people on videos. Y'all train station is like the most popular place ever. There's so many things that's happening on that train.
Penn Station.
I don't know. It's like the underground train.
Yeah, the Penn Station.
Yeah. You always see a bum doing something, or someone just always doing a music video or walking around. It's always something happening on that train.
You know what? I don't like the Strip in Miami, but I will stay. The Mandarin Oriental on that little island is really fucking nice.
Wait, what is that?
A hotel.
Oh, it's a hotel. All right.
It's really nice. It's not like its own triangular island thing. You gotta go on a bridge to get to it. Like, there's no one from Miami. There's no dirt bags over there. It's really fucking nice.
I hear that everything's expensive. Like getting a hot dog over there, like $17, just for a hot dog in the morning. Or
I went there pregnant. I was sitting on the little Escalade golf cart we rented with a hot dog in one hand and an ice cream cone in the other hand, just loving life.
Yeah, it was pregnancy curving. I mean, what's it called? Cravings.
Yep, it was weird.
My mom said
I ate ice cream every night when I was pregnant.
For some reason, my mom, when she had me, it was mustard on everything for some reason. That was her craving for like anything she had to have mustard on it.
For me, everything had to be like beige or like bagels, pizza, that kind of thing. Nothing green, no chicken. Oh, no chicken.
Is it true, like, when y'all pregnant, when y'all hear a food, y'all don't like, y'all like want to throw up?
Wait, what?
Like, is it true, like, when people are pregnant, when y'all hear a food that you don't want to eat, you just want to throw up? Like, if you like don't want chicken, if you hear about chicken, it makes you want to throw up or something?
It can.
Yeah, you get nauseous from a lot of things. Yeah. And morning sickness is not just in the morning. I don't know who lied about that. That was bullshit when I found that out.
I got really lucky with that. I did not get morning sickness with either one of my babies.
My boys, I didn't get it. My girls, oh my God. So bad.
Thank God I'm a guy, because I can never imagine. It's the delivery part. Because I heard like C-sections, or if you can't have a C-section, you have to do it the normal way. That's, whoa. That can scar me.
Giving birth is not for lightweights, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
That's why I don't give, like, this isn't about what y'all want to do with y'all body. That's y'all. I look like it hurts. But
isn't it compared to like breaking like several bones at once?
I heard that. I heard like on like a P. It's like a pH scale or something. It's like at the top of the top. But thank God, I'm a guy. But
you gotta shave your face every day. What are you talking about? Thank God.
I can deal with that. But cramps are the worst though. Like if you're working out,
you're a guy, dude. You have no idea about cramps.
I'm talking about like but guys get cramps too on their leg, and that must hurt way more than birth. Because cramps, like if you're ever working out and you just bend your knee or bend your leg, and you get a cramp in your leg, it stays there for like hours and hours.
You gotta drink more water. That means.
I heard that. I drink a lot of water. I don't think that's still. I think I have to get eat bananas or fruits or stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But do y'all go to the chiropractors though? For y'all? Every time you're pregnant, you have to go the chiropractors to get these massages and stuff?
No.
So how do y'all deal with y'all cramps then?
I'm sorry, sister. Don't take my head off.
Jamaica, at one time, we were highly educated.
May I
now
speak,
there's
though?
okay.
May I